YouTube, what's new? I'm still waiting on someone to figure out where that reference is from. What's new with me? The bar exam happened. That happened last week. If you've been following my vlog series about the bar, you kind of already know what this video is going to be about. So basically, I'm going to give just like a debrief on everything the bar exam. I'm going to talk about my feelings on how I felt like I took the bar this time. I'm not going to give you any specifics on what was on this bar exam. We're not allowed to do that, and I just feel wrong doing it, especially since they will release the stuff anyways. So I'm just going to go over my impressions, how I felt each day, and then I'm going to kind of do a review on how I felt like I studied, and just like a final review on Barbri. And I hope, Barbri, that you watch this video and tweak your course for people who are taking it a second time, because doing the same exact stuff just isn't gonna work. Let's put it at that. So let's start at the beginning. The bar exam. So I left on Monday, the day before the first day, which is a Tuesday. I got to Austin, and not gonna lie, so I didn't go to UT Law. I know it's a good school, but even if I was gonna go there, I don't think I would enjoy it because I don't like the city. I don't like Austin. So yeah, so there was that. My hotel was in a kind of good location. It was really hard to get in and out of, though, because of the construction and the way the street was and the way the entrances and exits. The entrance and exit, there was only one, which is also really frustrating. It was across the street from Whataburger, which was a plus from the July bar exam where it was in Fort Worth, and there was no fast food restaurants anywhere, so like food was kind of an issue, and lunch was kind of an issue. So I thought ahead of that this time. So I brought with me food like I said I would, and I pretty much ate that, except the last day I did splurge and I went to Whataburger because I treated myself. I deserved it. So as far as like the days of the bar go, the first day is the shortest day. It's the only day that's 3 hours, and it is the NPT, which is basically you're given the file in the library and you're told to write something based on that. And it is the P&E day. So the NPT I felt really strong about. I felt really good about it. Of course, going into it, the writing portions of the exam that are like the big long essays, so the NPT and the Texas essays were my strongest points. So I only kind of reviewed those, not as much as I did. I reviewed the subject matter of the actual Texas essays, but for the NPT, I was pretty confident about my writing abilities in that. So I felt like I did pretty well. The P&E, though, I felt like I did really well because of all the extra studying I did and all the supplemental studying. I'm going to say this right off the bat, and this is going to go into my Barbri review later, but Barbri does not prepare you enough for the P&E. They have you do like 3 of them. I was doing one every single day, either crim law or civil procedure. And because I did that, and because I took the answers down and memorized the most common answers, I was able to answer so many questions without even thinking about it because my brain was just so used to regurgitating this information. So I felt really good after the first day. The second day, I felt really good about too. I didn't want to cry. The first day I wanted to cry. The first time I took the bar, I wanted to cry after both the first day and the second day. This time, didn't want to do that. The MBE, I felt pretty good about. If I was second guessing myself, I would go back and reread the question to make sure I was hitting all the nuances that they were testing. We'll see how I go. At this point, I don't know if I'm gonna announce on my YouTube channel if I passed or not. I'm not in that place right now. Right now, I'm just kind of glad that it's over. So you'll be the first to know if I'm gonna announce it here. So next was the last day, and I was pretty confident about the last day. Like I said, the Texas essays are my strong suit. I studied a lot of family law in law school because that's what I want to go into. So that's something that I already have a pretty big knowledge of. It's all like the business stuff, because like the Texas essays are literally split into like two sections. You can like put all the subjects in these two umbrellas, which is the family law umbrella and the business law umbrella. And the business law has like secured transactions, agencies, partnerships, bankruptcy, all of that stuff is under the business law. And then the family law is like wills, trusts, estates, guardianships, the actual family law questions, community property. And so I did focus quite a bit more on that because I already knew a lot of the family law stuff just from my own experience. And so the morning, I felt like I crushed the morning exams, like crushed it. And then the afternoon, there were a few essays and I was like, I did not crush that. But I still feel really good. I feel a lot better this time than I did last time. Like, how I feel like I did is significantly different. I feel a bit more confident about how I did. Last time I didn't want to talk about it at all. And this time I feel better about how I did, which is always a good thing. So yeah, that was the actual bar day, the bar days. Some things that kind of bugged me was that they weren't consistent in how they checked us in every day. And the last day they had like actual like TSA metal detectors, which I didn't understand because they only used them in the morning and not in the afternoon. So yeah, that was weird. As far as like actual like what did I do in between the testing days? So during lunch, I would eat lunch in my car. I studied after the exam each day for the next day, which I also think helped me immensely. And then I did continue to work out during this because that is what I'm using as like my decompression time. So yeah, that's what I did in the in-between times. And then on the last day, I did not go out. I'm not really one to go out and party, especially because none of my friends were staying that night. Or none of the people I knew who were taking it were staying that night. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Most of the people I talked to who were either sitting around me or the people I knew from my school who were retaking, who I saw there, because I didn't know if they were retaking or not. I didn't know who was retaking or not because I didn't look at the big list. So anyways, there were a lot of people there who were retaking it, and it was a surprising number because I would say there was about 1,000 people there. There were quite a few people who were taking it for the first time, but there were people who were retaking it, and so I just like want to reiterate and saying that if you don't pass the bar the first time, you're not going to be alone in retaking it. You're never going to be alone in retaking it. And so that gave me a lot of comfort in knowing that I wasn't a complete failure, because let's be honest, at the beginning of this journey, I did feel like a complete failure. And coming out of it, I don't, because I studied really hard. I realized that I wasn't the only one taking it and retaking it, and the people that I know that were retaking it are some of the smartest people I know. So it can't be that I'm a complete failure, because they're not complete failures. I know that they're not complete failures. So if you do end up having to retake the bar exam, it is not the end of the world. You're not going to be alone. Someone else is going to be retaking it with you, and they're going to feel the exact same way you do. And I just want to be very clear. If you're retaking it, you are not a failure. Standardized tests just aren't for everyone. They are certainly not for me. But you're not a failure. It is not, the bar exam is not a testament to how well you know the law and how good of an advocate you're going to be. It is literally just a way to get yourself into the Texas bar, which is just an elite social club. Let's be real. But it is not a testament to how good of a lawyer you're going to be. It's just a test. So I just wanted to say that you're not a failure if you have to retake the bar. Trust me. It's hard to believe, I know. I was there, but you're not a failure if you have to retake the bar. So yeah, that was the actual bar exam. So now let's go into kind of my final review and final thoughts on Barbri. And Barbri, I really, 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 really hope you're watching this and you take my review into account. And you need to overhaul your program when it comes to retaking the bar. Having the exact same program is great. I loved that I got to rewatch the lectures and retake the lecture notes. That's great. I loved that I got the books for free. That's great. What I didn't love was that I could not see how I was doing based on the first time. So I could not actually see if I was improving until the halfway point was when I was the first like concrete evidence that I had that I was improving, because I know how I did on the simulated MBE the last time. And so I would have loved some concrete evidence to feel like I was improving, because there were days where I was just like, I'm not doing any better than I was last time. The essay architect, I only had one of those, and I know the first time I took the exam, I had like 3. They're pointless. I'd completely get rid of them. I'd figure out a new way to test on that, and show students how to write like that, because it's not worth it. When it comes to the knowledge checks, especially for the MBE sections, because I didn't notice this as much with the non-MBE sections. When it comes to the MBE sections, you would give us a knowledge check, and then we would have up to 60 extra questions on stuff that we may not have gotten correct in our initial like 35 questions or whatever they were. And it takes forever, because you aren't, as soon as the 35 questions are up, you are given no indication of how many extra sections you're going to have to look over and how many extra questions you are. So it just keeps on going and going and going. There's no way to measure your progress. And that was so frustrating, that I didn't know what my progress was. Not to mention, I was being tested on stuff that I didn't do well, and I was not given the chance to be notified what I needed to do to look into to do better. You were testing me on stuff I was doing poorly at, and you weren't giving me a chance to study that stuff that I was doing poorly at. That needs to be fixed. I don't know how you're going to fix it, whether you add into the personal study plan those extra questions and tell me how many extra questions there's going to be or whatever, but like at least tell what the extra sections are going to be. So like, if, let's say for evidence, if I was struggling with best evidence rule and hearsay, you tell me that I'm struggling with those 2 things, and then tell me if I'm going to have 3 to 5 questions on each, because that's typically how it was. Tell me, because seeing progress seeing how far you're progressing along is the best way to motivate you to continue to do it and not get frustrated. I found myself getting very, very frustrated with that especially. Next, put more time into the P&E. There were like 3 P&Es that were in my study schedule. I did them all early because, like I said, I was doing 1 a day. The fact that you're only having us do 3, and that is 2 portions of the test on the first day, like we have because there's 4 sections to the test, and 1 is split into 2, which is the P&E, and we're only doing 3 practice ones of those. Barbri, what's with that? No. We need more practice. I felt like there was a severe lack of MBE questions on the back half after the halfway point, because when I found myself wanting to do more questions was at the end, and I was like struggling to get one of the multiple choice things a day. And what I really didn't like was the books didn't have many multiple choice questions. They had practice exams with no answers, but no actual like multiple choice, just questions. So finding practice multiple choice questions was pretty hard, especially in the back half of the program. What else? I think that I don't want to say that's everything because I know it's not. I know I have more critiques on Barbri. I think my biggest critique is a lot of like the "you got this" lectures are for first time takers, but additionally I can probably guess that all the people who work at Barbri have only taken the bar exam once and they didn't have to take it twice. So when they're giving that advice, they are lacking some of the sympathy and empathy that people who are taking it a second time want to hear. Because the thing is, when you've only taken the bar exam once, you don't know why you passed. You don't know what you did well and what you didn't. You just kind of have to guess. When you don't pass, you're given a breakdown of your score. You're told what you need to work on and what you did well on. And when you lack that and you know you just passed and so you're just guessing, you're missing out on why people who are taking the bar exam for a second time don't want to talk to people who've only taken it once, because the experience is very different. So I think I would maybe suggest for people you know or who are going to be taking it twice, have them talk to someone or hire someone, Barbri, who's taken it twice or taken it more than once, and have them sit down and just like give them a message, because that message is going to be better prepared for people who are taking it a second time, because someone has been in their shoes is working for you. Because that's one of the things that helped me the most, was talking to someone who I knew who had taken it a second time and who was giving me advice the entire way through. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for advice from people who you know who've taken it a second time. If you're taking it a second time, what are words? If you're taking it a second time, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I will be happy to give you whatever advice I can. Because no one should feel like they're just being kind of preached to, you know? So yeah, I'm trying to think of making sure there's nothing left that I have to say about Barbri, because the thing is, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll be able to find out my issues with Barbri and their bar prep methods. But I think those are the big things. So what am I going to do now? I am going to talk to my sister because she said she had a potential job lined up. I'm going to be looking for jobs. Because yeah, I need something to do during the day. But for right now, I'm just going to kind of enjoy not having anything to do. And I would highly suggest you take some time off. I do want to go on an actual bar trip. I don't have any money, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But I would like to go somewhere, do a vacation, because I didn't do that last time. And it is very much needed. So what am I going to do with the free time I do have? Well, I'm going to be making some YouTube videos. I do plan on finishing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but right now, Lord, it's a frustration station. So yeah, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you have any comments, leave those in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I do plan on going back to doing advice for law students that you're not going to hear from other people, how I did planning throughout law school, how I like used a planner, and just other videos like my cats review, which is finally going to come up because I actually have time to make the video. There's going to be two. There's going to be two, guys, because I have time to make the videos now. So if you want to see any of that, like and subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Bye!